Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Learning Curves. I am so excited today about my guest on our show, Miss Teresa Merrick. So nice to have you today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. She's with ActionCOACH Tampa Bay, and you work with businesses all over Tampa, helping them scale and putting together plans. You want to tell us a little bit about what you do, Teresa?
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me. So I'm Teresa Merrick. I'm with ActionCOACH Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. We are geared towards helping small to medium business owners who have been in business for at least 2 to 3 years. So they have a record of success. They're well known in the community, and they are ready to move to the next level. So we like to help them get to a point in business where the business can work without them. So it's profitable, it's scalable, and it's working without them so that they can, kind of step away from it, let it be passive income, or go and do something else with their lives. They don't have to be a slave to their business.
I love that. And I wish I would have met you so many years ago.
Not too late.
You have no idea. I mean, I really do. I think that is such a smart thing for being a 25-year-old business owner and going through everything that I've gone through. And I'm just going to be starting that process here soon. To start that at 3 years, wow, I can only imagine what that would have done for my peace of mind. So
right, because we help because we find that many business owners, and you go into business because you're passionate about a thing, right? Mm-hmm. You're passionate about whatever it is you love doing. And it's not so much that you're in love with the business part of business. You just want to do what you do, right?
That's right. I am not in love with the business part of my business. I have a hate relationship with it.
But we get excited because there's so much opportunity there. If you can design what you've done and created a business that's lasted for 3 years without this, then imagine what you can do with a coach to help you to get to that next level. So that's when we get excited about that level, because we want people to know that, they have the support and they can grow without that anxiety of, am I growing too fast? Do I need to add more people? And know that you can absorb whatever the growth is at the pace that you need to go. Because, when you listen to all the other folks who are not really in business or not doing business well, it can be really difficult to make those decisions. So we try to help them get out of chaos, get a clear plan, and to help them move forward and stay focused.
Yeah, that would really help you stay focused, because I think we were talking before we started the show, and one of my biggest challenges was always, and still is today, is how do you navigate all that, like when to bring people on, when not to bring them on, and the scaling thing, and then all the stress that goes along with that, and having a certain plan in place to help you get there to make that process smoother.
Right, because it can be difficult, right? It's kind of hard. So we take it case by case, of course, right?
Especially if you're not a numbers person and you don't necessarily understand all that.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So one of the first things we have to do is first address the mindset of individuals to kind of understand that, there's a method to this, and we can give you a method and you can follow this, but still some things are not going to go quite right. Right. So sometimes it's just educating on, okay, if you can afford half of them, you can probably get the right person in here. They'll make up the other half of their salary. So, just kind of release that a little bit. But there's no magic formula for it. But we can just kind of help you better understand what you're doing and just feel comfortable in the decisions that you're making.
Oh, that's nice. Do you have any for a company of 3 years as a coach, can you give a little bit of advice for a company, or maybe 3 steps that they might want to think about?
So the one thing is recognize first of all, always be in the mindset that you will not always be the one doing this particular job, this particular role in your company. So I'd like for them to be in the mindset, if someone else had to do this, how would I prepare them for it? And to start writing down processes early. because you have a way that you're doing things in your business that's unique to you. But if you're holding it all in your head, then when you bring people along into your company, then they kind of have to follow you around to figure out what you're doing. That's stressful and it's not very effective.
Right.
But that's the first thing. Start to write down your processes early. Make checklists for what you're doing all the time. Like, start that early. The second thing I would say is be ready to delegate. Those things that you don't like to do, that aren't like really high skill things, start to delegate. And I know that can be stressful in those first years because you don't have the money or whatever, but there's so many different resources that don't have to cost you a lot of money to just delegate someone answering your phones. If you give them a script because you've written it down, right? If you give them a script, have them check your emails and forward the ones that you really want to deal with. Just have people do the small things that you really don't like to do that you continue to put off. It'll be more effective if you're allowed to focus on your high skill things and just delegate those small things.
Oh, that's some really great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think a lot of us do keep things in our head.
Yes. And at every level. And it's just really starting to think about, okay, am I always going to be in this role in my company? And to already, and the other thing is, start out with the organizational chart of your business when it has grown and gotten to the capacity that you want it to be. So not where you are right now, but in 10 years from now, when you're ready to just kind of not be in the business as much and having it run by itself, what does that organizational chart start? What does that look like? Right?
Interesting.
So
you start there with your planning.
Start there, because what you'll see in the beginning, I'm giving y'all game. So, so what you'll see in the beginning is you're in a lot of those positions. Mm-hmm. But as you grow, you can start to take yourself out of positions and put someone else in. But it kind of helps with you having a framework of where you're going. And it's a little bit of a relief every time you release the position to someone else. And it's also a sign of your growth. So it's something to celebrate along the way as well.
That's nice. Yeah, it's nice to be able to know that you can get to that point and be able to let your team go and not have to worry about it. I know so many business owners, and me, myself included, I'm getting a lot better at it than I used to be. Like being able to go on a vacation for 2 weeks and not be calling in every single day and go have fun and enjoy yourself. They have it, let it go. It's okay.
Yes. One thing we like to say is you have to let go to grow. Yes. And if you put the work in to train your team the way because we have a process in which we help you train your team and bring in the right people. And once you have developed that, it's just trusting that you've done all that you need to do for your business and trusting that it's going to work. And the folks that you have in place, they're going to take care of business. And also the flexibility of knowing that they're not going to do everything exactly the way you do it.
They probably do it a little bit better.
They may do it a little better, but they get to the same results. So we have to just be flexible in that and not be so ready to control every little part of it. Because when you are in the mindset of I want to control everything, you're also restricting yourself. Mm-hmm. Right? And you're keeping yourself from growing because so much is going on. We can't keep up with everything. We need some folks who are younger and brighter and able to catch on and right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so smart business people surround themselves with people smarter than them to do the work.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how you move forward. Mm-hmm. And you're right, you do need all the different age levels and the skill levels because it's very different of how their brains work as well. Mm-hmm. I've noticed that with my company. It's night and day between, those of us that are, in our 50s and 60s, and then, my younger team who's just kind of starting out completely different.
Right, it is. And as a leader and manager of all that, you have to be able to accommodate that. Because all of that brilliance is needed, right? All of that is appreciated, but you have to communicate them in a way that they feel that they are comfortable and able to express themselves without fear of, being judged or, just giving them the freedom to do that. That is true. I had a lot of challenges with that with my first
because I've been in business for 25 years.
Yeah.
The first young team that came in as the millennials, there was I had to learn a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of how to communicate properly with them. I'm completely different than I was then, which is good.
Right, because we have to be we have to communicate to them in the way they need to hear.
Yes.
Right. So that's a flip of what we've kind of learned in business, like old school. It's like, you need to get it. Right.
Right. You got to figure it out.
You need to figure it out if you want to stay here. But now it's like speaking to people the way they need to be spoken to, because you can lose good people just because you haven't learned their way of communicating.
It's so very true. I lost a lot of people because of that. And I learned along the way.
Right.
Get better.
And one thing that we are so big on in our company is the DISC profile, and really having people on every level that you're dealing with them complete a DISC profile so you know their communication style and what their motivations are. Because what we found is that when we have business owners who are having difficulty communicating with their staff and their teammates, it was that they were losing things in translation. So I had a business owner who couldn't motivate this one person. Like, they're brilliant, but they're not motivated. Keep throwing money at them, and they still don't do better. And it's like, well, are they motivated by money? And some people are not motivated by money. It was like, what do you mean? Right? Like, sometimes maybe you just need to give them a plaque that said, you did an outstanding job here. People are motivated in different ways. Maybe you just need to give her some flowers. Maybe you need to give that person just a card to go to get a massage, or, just something different, because everyone is motivated differently. But that also means that you have to get to know your staff on a different level, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of business owners don't take the time to do that. That's really good advice.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're in a different time now that people can really just go and pick and choose where they want to be. And now, we talked about this before, it's now creating a culture that they want to be a part of, a community that they want to be a part of. So it's not just, come here with the skills. It's come here into this environment where you're going to be cultivated. You're going to be heard and listened to, and if you can help them move to another level, all those things play into creating a culture for your company, and not just hiring people just to do and perform. Right. Seeing them as individuals and as humans.
Oh, that's great advice. I know you also talked about how you have a hiring process that helps businesses with that.
Yes, and in that we incorporate that the DISC profile before you actually bring them into your doors to know. And what I love about this, I like
the DISC profile so you give them the profile before you interview them, or before they start.
So there's a 5-step process.
If you could do it before you interview them.
Yeah, so it's a 5-step process, and I believe once they get to step 4, they're very good picks. So you've dwindled down your 20 maybe to the top 2 applicants by the time you get to the end of this process. So that's when you are doing the DISC and you're doing the DISC there, you're doing the skills testing, you're doing all of that at that point, so that you'll know who you're bringing about, and if that person is a good fit for the position that you're hiring for, not just your culture of your business, but it depends on what you're hiring them for. So if you're hiring someone to do IT, you probably want someone who's a little bit more focused and stable and attention to detail, as opposed to someone who is out there just want to communicate and talk and not paying attention to the details at all, right? So all of that comes into play when you're bringing someone on. That's why our process, as opposed to the regular process, the normal process that people use out there, is just like putting out a job application and hoping you get the right person. That yields statistically about 27% of a chance that you get the right person.
Oh, and it's such a frustrating process.
Right, exactly, because it's costly too.
It's very expensive. I can't even tell you how much money I've spent on LinkedIn ads recently.
Yeah.
Not recently, like I kind of the reason I got so frustrated. I'm like, I'm not even hiring anybody anymore.
Yeah, right.
But this was just like 2 years ago before, when it was really hard to hire people. I think I went through 100 applicants.
Oh my gosh, right?
Only to, what you're ending up with is not necessarily what you want at the time.
Right. And we believe in putting in steps where they can deselect themselves all the way to the end, right? We believe in that, and that yields people about an 87% chance of getting a person in who's a right fit for their company, right? So it's but the thing is, right, that sounds good, but it also is a longer process. It's a longer process.
But it's smart to have it, because I think some of us get so oh my God, because you might have just landed a couple accounts. I need to bring people in right away, or like the one thing I mentioned with the knowing that I had this huge client that when I had somebody leave, I had to bring on another project manager. And so I was frantically looking, and you just, grab the next person. Okay, you're hired. Just because it was so hard to, number one, hire during that time period also. But to have it, if I would have went through all those steps, would have been bringing in the right person. And
right. Because imagine if you had a pool of applicants just waiting for you to just kind of go through to the next person. Imagine that, right?
Yeah. There's not a big pool of applicants right now still.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you start, being proactive and not waiting until you have an opening, but starting the process early so that you have people in the funnel that have already gone through most of the process. So now you have people who you can call and just say, hey, are you still available? Instead of having to start that entire process all over again.
So started even before, how soon?
So how soon? It really depends on you and your business and what you have going on. So, because you can either put it as a part of your plan. If you know you're growing, you can say, okay, we're gonna do this like once a quarter, right? We're going to run this because we know that we're probably going to hire at the end of the year. You can start to map that out for your own business to determine, like, how often am I hiring? If you look at your record, how often am I hiring? At what point do I usually have openings? You start looking at your own process and background to see what's been going on, and you can kind of understand, when it's time for you to start looking.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't. I've done everything that you said wrong the whole time.
And most business owners are doing it differently. Not wrong, not right, just differently. That's okay, right? That's part of having a coach in your life, because sometimes you just don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Right. And that's why it's important to have not only business coaches, but just other coaches in your life, because no matter how long you've been in business, how good you think you are, even the best sportsmen not business coaches, some of them do, but all of them have coaches. So the best basketball player, the best football player, the best golfer, they still have coaches no matter what. They don't ever go out and perform and not have coaches around them. That would be insane.
Yeah, that would be insane. That would be insane. I just with an agency world, you have a lot of introverts that work for you, and a lot of very unique personalities. So a lot of times too, you're looking at their portfolios, their work, that thing, but that whole personality side of it, and trying to get more into that, because some of the people that you might have working for you, they might not communicate, so you might not really know how they're feeling. I think that would help out quite a bit.
Right. It would help in that, so that, the disc will allow you to know how to communicate best with them, of course. Yeah. And there are other measurements that you can use, other testing and other assessments that you can use. DISC is just one that we like and we use. But there are different things that you can use just to understand people better.
Okay. I love that. I'm gonna start doing that for the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. we're getting ready to gear up here pretty soon, hopefully.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah. So one of the other things that we had discussed is the succession and helping you work directly with, the CEOs and the owners and help them develop that plan of one day when they can hand off their business or possibly sell their business. And again, I loved how you said the sooner you can get in to put together that plan, the better for the business. But even those of us that are at my journey at 25, you can step in and help there as well.
Right, absolutely, because we like for you to come in with that mindset, but for those who have been in business for a long time, they haven't thought about that, but now it's time to start thinking about that. And it's never too late to start the process of succession. I can't say never too late, because it takes about 3 to 5 years for you to really build it out so that it's ready to be sold, right? So we just get in there because if you have had a business for 25 years, wonderful, you have done an outstanding job, right? But when you're getting ready to hand that off to maybe someone else, then we need to make sure that business is not completely dependent upon you. So we're not trying to sell a job, because people don't want to buy a job. They want to buy an entity that works alone, so they can just come in and just do minimum and the business is working, right? That's what they're going to pay good money for. So we will come in and just see. So I like to compare it to the building of a house, right?
Right.
So you've built a house with your limited knowledge. You have your foundation, right? And there may be little cracks in that foundation that you don't really recognize until it's time to either grow it or you're getting ready to pass it on to someone else. What we do is come in and see where those cracks have become gaping holes that need to be shored up. So that means that that's different for every business. But we go in, we look to see what's going on through a series of questions and assessments just to see what's going on in the business. And we help you with those parts of it so that you can build it up so that it can withstand time and be a sustainable business, but also that it can work without you. And just sustain the growth, because, as you start to grow something, things just start to show themselves, right? So that's what we come in to do. So it doesn't really matter where you are with that. We can come in and just see what needs to be done to get you to the point where you can, where the business is working by itself. But we're always working towards that goal.
Right. So you look at a lot of different processes, not just the books and the numbers, to see where the business is and what plan to put in place for them.
Yeah, because it could be as small as, well, not small as, but it could be on the level of delivery. So if you just to simplify it, so if you have a product that you have to send out or deliver, then when you only have about 100, that's fine. But when you get an order for 3,000. Then it's like, oh, how is my process for doing this? Like, what worked for the 1,000 is not going to work for the 3,000. What do I need to put in place so that this works? What systems do I need to put together so that this works cohesively? So we do that with all parts of the business. So anything that is going on. So that's just a delivery portion of it. But even when you're when you're just hiring, because, my friend has a friend or, this, right? When you're doing that, that's great in the beginning and when things are small. But as, newer responsibilities and different types of clientele come in, that customer service that person exhibited on the lower level may not work when you have a different type of clientele. So it's understanding, okay, we need to change this now. We need to bring in different types of people, and just really helping you understand what's needed to get you to where you want to go in your business.
As far as a scalability plan for that time period, do you put together, is that part of the succession plan as well? Like, I'm going to, at 5 people, do this, 10 people.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of this, a lot of the processes and things they say change from, I think, what's the number? From 20, it's from family style, it's very different than when you get to 20, and then that changes, and then 15. And
right, it does. And one thing I haven't talked a lot about is the person you need to be and become as that business is growing is something that we talk about as well. So it's not just the basic tangible things that you're working with, but it's who you are becoming in order to support that growth as well. Because you have to become a different type of person as well. Your time management, how you handle yourself, how you handle others, what you are focused on has to change. Your habits have to change. So we talk about all that as well. But whenever we start working with anyone, we work with them to work on a 5 or 10 year plan. So whatever that plan is, we back that plan down to your weekly action. So everything you're doing on a weekly basis is going towards that 5 or 10 year plan. So whatever that is needed, because what we do is we give you a questionnaire that asks you I think it's like 187 to 200 questions about your business, just going over all the different components, whether it's the team, it's the finances, it's delivery, it's all the parts of your business. So you go through that and you tell us what you're doing and what you're not doing and what you want to focus on in the next 90 days. So we take that, we talk to you about your long-term goals, and we compile that. And once you leave us in the beginning, once you start, like your first encounter with us, you are leaving with a plan of action.
Wow.
Yeah, so we don't play. We don't play. We're called Action Coach, not Procrastination Coach. We do not play. We want you to have focused energy on the things that matter to where you're going. And what's wonderful about that, I've always loved setting goals. So what is beautiful about that is you know exactly what is fitting into that goal, those goals, and what is not. So when we talked earlier about chaos and all the things that going on and pull you in different directions, but when you have that plan, you can check that plan and say, oh, that's not fitting into my plan. This does not take me to where I want to go. This actually takes me away from it, so I can say no to this.
Right. The power of no.
The power of no. The power to exercise that complete sentence of no.
Right.
Not at this time. That's not fitting into my plan.
Oh, that's good advice.
Yeah.
I like that. Do you have like three things that we can think about as far as if we're thinking about succession planning, like some advice there of just to get us thinking about a few things before we would hire an action coach?
So I would say this. Think of your life. I like to just employ visualization. Visualize your life with a business that is giving you passive income. What would you do? What would you do if you didn't have to show up in your business every day? What would you do differently?
If I didn't have to show up in my business?
Yeah, and it still worked without you. It was doing all the things. What would you do differently?
I guess I would be able to relax. That's doing something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's major. So it's it's really tapping into who are you when you are not in the business 70 hours a week. Who are you? What are you doing? It's tapping into that because, see, that will keep you focused. That will keep you motivated to doing the hard things that will need to be done in order to get there. Because the process that we talk about, all the things aren't easy to do. They're simple, but they're not always easy to do because you do have to change your habits. You do have to change your mindset, and you do have to release and let go.
Yes. Yeah. Or if you get the business operating on its own very well, if you're somebody like me who's always thinking about that next shiny object, it gives you that opportunity to maybe start another business and make it successful.
Absolutely, because one of the things we also like to say is that we don't fish for you. We teach you how to fish. So when you learn the skills to build one business, you can easily transfer those same skills over to another business. Right?
Right.
And if you need some additional support, we're still there to give you a support to with that business as well. So it's really up to you. It gives you the freedom. It gives you the freedom because it's okay to want to work until you die, but it is not okay to have to. You deserve the right to choose.
Yes.
Even as a business owner. Like that business can support you in retirement.
And without having the proper plan in place, you could easily be working all the way until then.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's like, are you going to choose how you end your role in the business, or is the business going to choose that for you?
Right. So it's always best to have the choice to do that.
Yeah.
Are you able to, when you look at selling a business, is it all about the profit of a business that makes it attractable for other companies?
That's part of it. But like I was telling you before, no one wants to buy a job. And no one wants to buy something that they have to figure out. Because if you have all the information in your head and you leave that business, then what is that business without you?
Right. Nothing.
It's nothing. So they almost have to buy you with the business in order for it to work. Mm-hmm. And that's not really the point, right?
Right.
Right. So they're looking for a business that absolutely can survive without you. And maybe they just train a CEO to take over or something like that. But it's not where they're buying something where they have to be in it and do all the things and build the processes and know how these things work. Because if it just becomes cumbersome. Like just thinking about them, it feels cumbersome if I have to step into a business and figure out what you were thinking and what you were doing, and why are we making these decisions over this decision, and why we chose this and not that, right. But then it's all in your head, right?
Yeah.
Like, why did we take this project? How'd you get this estimate?
No, you're right. They want it all kind of laid out for them. That's what they're looking to walk in and. Here it is.
Right. Seriously, if they've been going to pay top dollar and you want them to pay top dollar for it. So, have those systems in place so that it is an easy transfer.
And what side can smaller companies be sold? Like people that might have just a couple people working for them? Is that a sellable entity?
It can if it's profitable enough and it's attractive enough to whoever the buyer is, yeah.
Is it more of the people and the process that they're looking for, or the account, or everything?
It depends. It really depends because if it's someone who's not in that industry and they're just looking to purchase a business and make some money off of it, it's a different mindset as opposed to someone's in the same industry and they're just acquiring yours to expand what they already have. Yeah. It's a different mindset in terms of what they're looking for.
Right. Yeah, that's what we see, like in the agency side is a lot of companies, like it might be another real estate agency like mine, and they want to expand, so they would look for other real estate type agencies to purchase. Or sometimes it could be an in-house department or I want to have an in-house department that's a real estate, I can take that and we can bring you in-house and it's already there.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it just depends on what they're looking for.
Right. There's a lot of different ways to go about that.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Well, one of the other things that I get excited about that we talked about that you offer is masterminds. Yes. And I just think that's so much fun, and the opportunity for businesses to be able to work with other businesses in a small group where they can network together, work together, and help each other solve problems. I know that a lot of people have asked me, like, what kind of advice would you give somebody? And that would be my biggest thing is find some type of a mastermind or group, or find a couple of them. Right. Actually, because I have one that I do with agency owners. And it's nice to be in there with a group of other people that are experiencing a lot of the same pain points that your business is, and kind of being able to work through those together and get advice, and sometimes even be able to collaborate on
absolutely.
work.
Absolutely. So what we have is something something new that we're offering, and we're still super excited about it, and our clients have just absolutely loved it. So we have Entrepreneur Day that we do every third Friday of the month. And what it is our clients are able to come together. We do learning. We have some kind of teaching. We do planning. But at the end of that day, the second half of that day is open for just mastermind. And they are able to get together and just discuss what one main issue that they're having and get input from each person in their group. It is so beautiful. And like I was telling you before, so it's our clients. So all of them are in coaching.
Yes.
So as we're kind of going around the room, making sure they stay into the time and all that stuff, and just supporting them if they need it, we can hear our coaching coming out of the mouths of our clients. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's so wonderful because even if they're just talking about different software that they're using, CRMs that they're using, they're able to just because when you're looking for these things out on the internet and you Google, I need a CRM, you don't know which one to choose. It's so many things. And it's beautiful to be in that room for them to say, oh, I'm using this. And they're in the same industry, so they know it works for that industry. And it's magical, the things that happen. We have lawyers in the room. We have folks in trades, we have medical professionals. It's just a number of people in there. And for them to have a safe place where they can just kind of be vulnerable and say, this isn't working, I'm frustrated about this. There's no other place for them to really do that, right?
Right.
With their family, they can't do it with their team. Other business owners who are not like in growth mode, who are just complaining about the same thing but can't give solutions, right?
Yeah, no, because a lot of people don't understand like where you are,
right?
So it's lonely being a business.
Yeah, it can be, but it doesn't have to be, and that's why we opened up this opportunity for it to be a community. So not only are they learning from their individual coaches, but they're also getting support and accountability and learning from their cohorts. Their cohorts. I can't even say the word cohorts. So they're able to work with their other. It's beautiful because they can learn different information. They can share with one another. It's also, it becomes whether they're like, they hang out together sometimes. It just becomes so much more. It really becomes like a family.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's nice. And then afterwards, you find that they're still calling each other, giving each other advice, and they become lifelong friends and business advocates.
They do, because they really, each one of them in our group, they really do care about the success of the other. That's the beauty. There's no competition in that room. They are really there. We celebrate wins together. We talk about the different things that are going on in their businesses. They get learnings from international speakers. It's just a wonderful opportunity for them to be in that space. And that's how we teach them to start working on their business. Like, that's just a little part of you beginning to work on your business instead of being in it. And all of them just really appreciate having that opportunity to be away and just be with other business owners and be in that space. It's wonderful. It's better than we even expected it to be, right? It's so good.
Yeah, because sometimes as business owners, we know all the things that we're supposed to do. Like, you should create SMART goals for your company. And what are your SMART goals? And then those 10 things that you put within those goals, like having that accountability with the other. Because I know that, because I'm very competitive, but not competitive. And, when I have those things in front of me, it's like, okay, like you feel proud that you can tell the group, like, I actually did these things.
Yes. Yes.
I checked them off, which if you don't have it, you might be like, yeah, well, I didn't really have to do that. So I'm my accounting group for my agency group that I'm working. I'm like, okay, I have to get these couple of things done before, my next meeting, because I promised the group that this was going to happen and they're going to hold me accountable towards it.
Yeah, there's magic in that. There's magic in speaking it out. And speaking it out in front of people as witnesses, and then coming back to those same people and them saying, "Hey, so how are you doing on that?" That does
and they something. Give it, and then maybe to give advice on each thing too, about how you can get there.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
That is just. I mean, that's a big part of the masterminds, your business. and everything that you're doing with your coaching. I just think that's wonderful.
It is the icing on the cake. It really is. It really is. Because we were talking about how, you can, like with your kids, you can tell your kids the same thing over and over again, right? And it just doesn't get through to them. And then one day they go into an atmosphere and some person says, and they come back to you and say, do you know what I just heard? And it's the same thing you've been saying to them for years, right? Yes. It's like brand new, like, oh my God, Mom, you should know about this. Yeah, I do. I've been talking to you about it. It's the same thing with our clients. Sometimes they can hear it from a different, and maybe they're in a different space, but they hear it in a different way from someone else. Then the light bulb comes on, and we don't care how they get it. We just are happy that we're able to facilitate them getting whatever it is they need to get. But that's the beauty of being around different people, but who are also in the same type of coaching and atmosphere of growth, right?
Right.
That's different than just being in a mastermind, right?
Right.
Right? That's what we love so much, because each one of these individuals have committed to coaching and getting some advice and growing, and they're working on their plan. So they have very high expectations of themselves and one another. So it's where
all the magic happens.
It really, really does. I get so excited about about those. I'm like, oh my goodness, because I see the growth and I see them like partnering with one another to go to different networking groups, and you just see all of those things happening.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go to one.
All right, let's go.
Absolutely. Well, what else do you have to share with us, or any other type of advice that you can give us business owners?
Assess where you are right now and be truthful about it. Assess where you are. Be honest with yourself in terms of how well you are doing with the business part of your business. Be honest with what you are avoiding with your business, because if you're avoiding it, it's the thing that you need to face, and get the support you need to face it. And it doesn't always have to be, well, it's going to be challenging, right? It's not going to be easy, but that's okay. You're business owners and you knew that. So it is just being honest about where you are and being ready to face it and do it sooner than later. That's what I would give as advice. And that's really just a life lesson, really.
It is. It really is.
It's really just a life lesson. It's just to face the hard things so you can get it behind you. I heard someone say one time, the best way to get through a storm is to keep going. Right? To keep going. If you stay there, you're going to stay in the storm. But if you keep moving, you can move yourself out of it. You'll walk through it. You'll push your way through it. So continue to go, to continue to move and get the support you needed, and be ready to, because I think sometimes with business owners, they believe that getting coaching or help is a sign of weakness. It's an attack on their ego or their expertise and things like that, when the reality is that the opposite is true. The strongest business owners, the top 3% of business owners, have coaches.
I've heard that. I've read that. Yep. You have to have one.
Seriously. Yeah. It's just necessary. It just really is, because and I'm going to quote Les Brown here. Les Brown says, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame.
It's true.
You can't see the picture when you're in the frame. You need someone outside of that frame to look and see all the things. And that's so real, right? When you're taking a picture outside, someone's taking a photo of you, you look at the photo, you have no idea that person was behind you, right? Right? So it's just really just allowing someone to see the whole picture and help you to navigate this next level.
It's really important. Mm-hmm. I know anytime I've had a mentor come in and help me with my business, or advertise, I've hired a couple agency consultants that have come in. It's really been a game changer for me, and actually my team, because I work with my team as well. Helping them be able to work with me better. Being like, she's really not that off of what she's doing. She's typical. When they hear that, they're like, oh, okay. Because sometimes they don't think that. They think, oh my God, I'm working for this crazy person, but then when they hear how other agency people are and how they operate, and it kind of puts everything into context, I think, for a team.
Right. And I think too with teams is if everyone's working towards the same goal and they understand their part in the goal, it kind of changes things as well.
Yes.
Yep. So it's not like we're just working towards your goal.
Right.
It's like we all have a part in this, and
we do.
And we all benefit when we reach this goal, and maybe have something fun, like a celebration when we get to the goal, right?
Yes.
So we just have to really be just cognizant of people as people.
We do. That is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, for sure. I think it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
That type of communication. Well, thank you so much. We've talked about so many different things today.
This has been awesome.
Yep. And I mean, my learning curves is all about helping business owners and for them talking about their journey in business. And I bring in a lot of coaches like you to give advice and talk about how they can help as well. So thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this.
Oh, you're so welcome. We'll have to have you back again because I think this is going to be really great for anybody that tunes in, because it's such an important step. And I think I've had coaches at different points, but honestly, I think like that 3rd year mark, like you had mentioned, and being able to set the plans instead of having the coach come in as crisis management.
Yes, absolutely.
Would definitely be the better way to go.
Yeah, definitely. And if you are in crisis, we can help you get out of chaos.
Yeah.
But if you know that you're in growth mode and you've not gone upon those territories before, then get you a guide.
That's right. Reach out right away. Right. Don't suffer in silence, people.
Oh my
Do not suffer in silence.
Right.
Not worth it.
No, it's not. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in to Learning Curves, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time. At CEA Marketing, we take your business, your passion, and your why, and we sell it. If you're unsure where to start marketing your company, CEA Marketing is here to help. Our team at CEA has tons of experience and top-notch training, which helps you take all the stress and confusion out of marketing your own business. After years of working with large companies like Pulte Homes and Metro Places, we guarantee the successful implementation of a marketing strategy.